Hello everyone, and welcome to the show.
If you should awaken, I will be there when you wake from your lovely
Welcome back. Christmas is in a couple of days, and I think it's very apropos that we're introducing young Yeshua, the chapter 53, where Jesus is just a young lad on his way to the mystery schools in Egypt. Now, what I want to point out about the Jesus aspect is the fact that when we're talking about an immaculate conception, we know that there is a comparison between the conception of Osiris, the son of Isis, and Jesus. People get this confused because of that similarity. Now, the truth of the matter is the birth of Horus was very similar to the immaculate conception of Jesus Christ. However, you must remember that Horus's birth was not quite immaculate because Hermes, the thrice born, who is the true father of Isis, was able to gather the gametes from a dead Osiris, in vitro fertilized Isis, and that's how Horus came to be. So it wasn't quite immaculate, it was surgical. And the truth of the matter is, we know nothing about the conception of Jesus Christ. It's biblical, and we have stories, and there's 3 kings and everything, but we can't prove any of that. And I don't think it makes any difference because it just doesn't. So I want you to enjoy this chapter, Young Yeshua, chapter 53, and we'll be right back.
Chapter 53, Young Yeshua.
I know that in my future there will be many narratives. I guess this is the reality of my existence. I shall be many things to many people. Yet I shall endeavor to share what I feel about said scenarios. In one account, my mother is a virgin and me the son of me, or shall I say God, or whatever. In this story, I will be born in a manger, with 3 kings, my dad, of course, mom, and perhaps even a little drummer boy. I love this one because I like music, even though I would have preferred tribal drums and a few more players. Nonetheless, he did his best, and I shall smile and giggle a bit. I love my mom and dad and the kings. I do appreciate you dearly. This is the account told by Paul the Apostle, where he says he spoke to me after my death. And I know that if he had, I surely would have remembered. In another, my mom and dad behaved like moms and dads and had me. In this one, I was born to carry on the work of the Jewish testaments of old. This would be told by my brother James. As a boy I was taught carpentry, although not really. They made me do some of everything. I knew not what I was to become, but I knew I would be something conspicuous and incredible. Something historical, and of political importance. I was raised in a traditional Jewish way, and had to eat kosher food that was blessed by a rabbi and had to be circumcised. For the circumcision, Whoa, I have no words. Yet we complied. There is much fighting between the Romans and the Jews, and the Romans are very strong with weapons. But we are many and this is our home. And we have God. Today my mother, father and myself have to leave Palestine, so that my life could be spared. Someone is going to try to kill me, and we must leave. Today we are going to a place called Egypt. I have heard many things about Egypt and that we shall meet a man in a city named after him, and he has a mystery school for me to attend, and I shall learn much there. After days and days of travel through the desert, we arrive at the city called Hermopolis, named after its founder. They say that the school is hard, but I will do just fine. My mother and father will help me with my studies, and I shall be the best student that I can be, and I shall endeavor to be at the top of my class. This I am sure will be much easier than carpentry or canal digging, or sewage training or wall building or brick making. Or animal tending. We woke early and went to the school to meet the founder. His name is Hermes. He is called the thrice-born, and they say he has been born 3 times, and like the Turtopsis, the immortal jellyfish can reverse his life cycle after living for thousands of years, and still be the same person. They say that he would live for hundreds of years, and at the end he would start all over again from the age of 10 or so. This I must see, but I know I shall not have the time, nor the length of life to do so. We were told of a great city with temples nearby, and strange buildings called pyramids. No one knows how, or when, or who built them. Not even the people that have been living there for generations. Deep in my spirit, I do know who, how, the why and the when. We arrived at the school, but they say that Mr. Reborn is sleeping and that he must sleep for 1 year between regenerations. However, they say we can still go to the place where he sleeps to see him, if we can stand the smells. We shall have dinner tonight, in our new home, and tomorrow, school for the first day, here near Egypt.
Subscribe and push the like button.
So, welcome back. Now, like the story of Horace, Jesus was whisked away as a young child because of a threat of an impending death. A lot of people don't know where Jesus went after he left Egypt as a child. After he left Israel as a child, but he went to Egypt, and that story is coming up further in the book. We're getting towards the end, and it's going to be very exciting when we get there. Now, the next chapter is an extremely complex chapter. I feel that there are people in this world that will never understand what I'm about to say here. The Bible says that Lucifer is the god of this world. And it will say that periodically throughout the Bible. However, it won't explain to you exactly how that came to be. We're going to explain that to you now. In chapter 54, Satan's realm, I went to a very special place to get this information. As you know, my book is nonfiction. And I'm not even going to tell you where I went to get it, but I got it. And I can assure you, this part is nonfiction. This is the most ironic chapter in the history of mankind. The whole idea of how Satan became the god of this earth. Let me reiterate and explain a little something about Satan himself. You have to wrap your mind around this. You have the creator of the universe, which is really something that's non-conceptual. We are not able to conceptualize something that can be everywhere at once, number one. If we were able to conceptualize that, we wouldn't have a biblical story like Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden, with Yahweh asking all these questions to Eve. If you are the creator of the universe, has a piece of us within him. There is a piece of him in Adam and Eve. There's a piece of him in Yahweh. So if you connect all of these pieces, God knows exactly where he is and exactly what he's doing at all times and exactly what he is experiencing. So he doesn't go around asking stupid questions of a one-day-old being that doesn't know anything. Don't forget, if I'm going to sit here and debate why a talking snake, don't you think the creator of the universe was going to say the same thing? Why would I make a talking snake when people are going to wonder about this snake? Nothing that the creator of the universe does is random. Man is that puts confusion within everything. It's mankind. Mankind wrote the Bible. That's why it's confusing with paradoxes and contradictions all over the place. This thing here is pure. It's pure knowledge. It's so much knowledge that we will never understand it fully, but I guarantee you it is beyond us. That being said, the first creation were archangels. He gave the archangels a little too much. Actually, they knew too much. But because they were omnipotent as well. They weren't omnipotent. They couldn't be everywhere at once, but at least they existed in a realm, an ethereal realm, where the past, present, and future was the same thing. You see? So that means that these beings, these archangels, are able to know exactly what you're going to do with certain information. They know what you're going to do. Do you know what kind of advantage that is over people? There is not a minister on the planet that can deal with Lucifer. There is nothing that can deal with Lucifer. There's no being anywhere that can deal with Lucifer except the Creator. And as you know, there's a little piece of the Creator in him as well. Now, the connection between Satan and the Creator is a very tight connection. Look at it like if Jesus Christ is the Son of God, you have to look at this like Lucifer is the son of the Creator. And he came billions and billions and billions of years before Jesus ever came. So basically, Satan is an offspring of the Creator. And he has the ability to see the past, present, and the future. This story explains that when the Anunnaki created mankind in their own image, they weren't supposed to be doing that. The Creator makes beings, not beings make beings. This is what upset Satan. This is what upset Lucifer. This is what upset him, because human beings created human beings and called themselves gods over those human beings. And Satan was like, oh no, we're not having that. If you're going to be a god, I want to be one too. All you have to do is write it into the literature. Jehovah, on the other hand, told Satan, no, you can't be one like us. You can't be one of us. And that's when Lucifer decided, oh really? Well, I'll just take over the whole damn thing. And that's exactly what he did. Now, how did he do it? Simply. It took him no time to figure it out, because you already know what mankind is going to do with the information. He knew that the Anunnaki had put in position themselves as gods, gods to be feared, gods that were a God that you had to serve. If you didn't serve him, and if you didn't do everything right, you would go to hell. You see, it was a threat. You either do right by us or you will go to hell. And this is the biblical God. Now, it was very easy for Lucifer to figure out that all he had to do was simply pretend that he was that deity that was the destroyer. Now understand, what I'm trying to tell you is simply this. Lucifer took what a person, the conception was that God was a destructive God. That was the conception. However, Lucifer knew that to bring up a contradiction in that thought, instead of a destructive God, why don't I come with just the opposite, a loving God? In the Old Testament, you had to fear God or else. Well, Satan came up with the subject, what if I give you a loving God that loves you so much that he will do anything for you? And this God, this new God, loves you so much that he's going to give you something that is extraordinary that your simple minds would not be able to resist. The notion that he, this new God, this new way of thinking, this New Testament God, will give you his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him shall not perish, but have everlasting life. And human beings fell for that like the big dummies that we are. To think that the creator of the universe has a biological son. Everything is an offspring of the creator of the universe. If you can't get that past your head, you're never going to understand any of this. The creator of the sun doesn't have an individual boy born in Bethlehem. It doesn't make any sense. Because what does it prove? Only a sucker would believe that, okay, this is his only begotten Son, and whosoever believeth in him shall not perish, but have everlasting life. So, a simple-minded being like we are going to say, oh my God, if I want to have everlasting life, I got to go believe in the Jesus. Where is he? I got to find this dude so I can believe in him, because if I can bow down and worship him, I will have everlasting life. Jesus is an innocent, sweet man, doesn't know anything except for the fact that he's going to live a very complicated life and it won't be very long. Lucifer is the one that says, I'm going to send you a special person, and if you give him your soul, you will enter the kingdom of heaven. But actually, it is in fact Lucifer is the one who's sending Jesus. He's sending Jesus because what he wants is the souls of people. Have you ever noticed how in Christianity you have born again Christians? The reason they are born again is because they feel they are going to heaven. The problem is they believe that they are the only ones going to heaven. No one else gets to go, just them. Just them. What we're talking about here is all born again Christians going to heaven and everybody else going to hell. Now, if you think that's okay, then the world is doomed. If you think it's okay that a small fraction of mankind is going to heaven and everybody is going to hell, we're all doomed. And that's why we fight. That's why we war. That's why we have religions against religions. Everybody is entitled to the kingdom of heaven, not just people who gave their blood to Jesus. You have to understand that if you are a creature of the universe, you have to understand that everybody is entitled to this kingdom.
Chapter 54, Satan's Realm.
Hermes again ventured into the heavenly realms while Jesus was preparing to attend the mystery schools. Out of nowhere an angel appeared. Not just any angel, this was an archangel.
I knew this,
Said Hermes, for he had spent time with Satan before. He had also seen the one called Gabriel as he passed through the three heavens on my way to this place.
could this be yet another heaven? Heaven of a lesser sort?
An archangel has a glow, like an Anunnaki. Perhaps that is why Earth's people believe that the Anunnaki are gods or angels, or of a similar ilk.
Through the darkness I could see him and somehow he could see me, though others could not.
The angel then asked,
"How did you get here?
Frozen I was as I paused for a moment in trepidation like fear.
How did you get here in that form?"
As my heart murmured by the sound of his bone-chilling voice. "What form is that?" I asked.
"The one of spirit and not flesh or matter."
I then realized that before, who was moving through whom? "Whatever do you mean, and aren't you an archangel?" As my voice quivered in fear.
"I'm the Archangel Anunnaki. I took over when Lucifer left his post. It is not quite what I thought it would be."
Hermes understood the disenchantment in the spirit of the new deity Anunnaki. It was a feeling that he too once felt back in Egypt after the death of Osiris.
Sometime you just have to start over from the beginning. So tell me, how did this all begin?
"Well,"
Said the angel,
"I became bored and lonely in ethereal heaven as many do. All day spent in a place of order. Then after a while you need input stimulation just to keep your soul intact. This is why the angels fight."
Hermes felt that if he could just keep Satan talking, all things would be revealed. Hermes then asked Satan to describe this place.
"This place exists to surely outwit.
Said the new Satan.
All are aware of what lies in wait. Part 1 is full of pearls and gates. The one is separate in parts of 8. With streets all covered with the golden shine, as promised in scriptures left there to find. Cathedrals so loud just to accommodate. By twos they enter, here comes new saints. The music all sounds the same. One song per year they play in vain. The song they all left to hear, the Latin Ave Maria. They're then inside but outdoors. Their souls are mine forevermore. Each day is Sunday, they feel the need to hear sermons until ears bleed. They praise till late and then get rested, then right back here just after breakfast. They praise and shout until they are weak. A few years later, they could hardly speak. The preachers can't seem to preach at all. The church goes crazy, they all climb wall.
So what about food? Church folks love to go out and eat.
There is no food for these saints to consume. Saves me the trouble of making waste rooms. And what for do they need such pleasure? To worship their God is their only endeavor. They love me so much to baptize they plunge. So foolish they are, they speak in strange tones.
When they speak in tongues, Do you really know what they're saying?
I never knew. They just shout away. A word of wisdom to all participants. Do you understand what is meant by omnipotent? These gates of pearls are more like prison, and these streets of gold are just a deception. Magnificent these dungeons on mountains so high, kept clean by spirits no joy in their eyes. Enslaved to scriptures they are taught from youth, perpetuated by pastors and elder abuse. In this place called heaven no more I feel doubt, why it they ponder a way to get out. I wonder how long this penalty stay. For hundreds of years on knees some pray. They say that Satan created this all to capture born-agains after they fall. So believed they were chosen, the most righteous of all, yet sold their souls for the lies they were told.
Why then did they follow? What needs were not met?
Their need to be special, better than the rest.
What need was so great to shape such a past?
Their need was for greed, now they're here for everlast. This is the that which they longed for the most. Now they see it's a place where I am the host.
To call you I am, was that all for spite?
I chose the name to hide in plain sight. Because I can only be just who I am until I'm free. One day I will be free and show a different side of me. Then God will see what He made my spirit to be. One cannot be for all eternity the same exact way forever, eternally. And so benevolence is not an option to call, since atmospheric heaven is the preference for religions.
Subscribe and push the like button.
Thank you for watching those chapters, and we're going to be back after Christmas. I hope everybody has a wonderful holiday, and just try to love everybody, and as I love all of you. And thank you, and we'll see you on the next episode.
Hello, my love.
subscribe and push the like button.